Did I just get released out of sanding purgatory? I think it's just about done, isn't it? Hey, it's Mark from Heineck Fine Woodworking again. We're back at it in the video of the build series of Cradle rocker, and we're moving on to the rocker portion. Last video we finished up the cradle. Now we're going to start this, and so we're going to start with gluing these up, shoot them in, and then once they're dry, we'll start with the headrest. And looking forward to this. I think it'll go much quicker now. I think you're going to enjoy this part, and man, when we get to the rockers, it's going to be pretty awesome. So let's start gluing these up, and we'll move on from there. All right, yeah, they're glued up, screwed in, let them dry, and it's on to the headrest. Yeah, all right, we're back at it. Here last you saw, we glued these up, so now we're gonna shape these in, just like we did this leg in here, the transition. We're gonna do it on top and underneath as well. That's gonna be interesting, flipping this over with all this, but yeah, this will be fun. I feel like I'm back in my element now with the rocker. I want to show you something with regards to shaping this one. Let's see what I've got. All right, so you get this large chunk of stuff sitting out there. So you want to follow this pretty even, you know, something like that, and get this. You're gonna have this rounded like this, and then it's actually going to be pretty flat here. It's just going to round into it in a slight transition. And then on the front here and underneath, you know, you're going to be transitioning to the chair that way. And then on the inside, similar swoop. So it'll be fun. This on these legs. I know, kind of jumped the gun on this, but a lot of guys will install everything and shape it to the chair like this already installed. Sometimes I'll pre-shape these prior to getting in there just to give me a little easier time, but no, we'll see how it goes. And so just gonna get my burrs on. I think I'm gonna use the big burr. I really liked this one when I worked on that leg, so I think I'm gonna do it with these two here. So right, that one's rough shaped. I'm gonna keep going on to that one. All right, got those rough shaped in. Now I'm gonna flip it over, see if I can do that, and do the other underside. Once I got on the underside shaped up, I'll use the rasp on those first. So. All right, let's get this thing flipped over. This is a bit of a pain flipping this over because you got the legs, the back legs, and the cradle, so it's not gonna sit flat. Got this legs pressed up against the table leg. I just don't want it to fall, you know. All right, try to shape it. All right, rough shaping with the burr is in. Whew. Man, when I did these in the States, I was up in Indianapolis for a while, but and then in Costa Rica, I built rockers. I didn't have the flex shaft and the burrs, man, and I would do it with the rasps, and that took a while. Rasps. And but boy, those are nice. They really save on time. All right, let's get to this. Whew. All right, I got those shaped in underneath. I'm gonna sand all this to finish state, so once it's flipped over, I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, let's get the sanding. Yeah, more grit. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but it's actually a trick to make this end look super thin. You know, you have it thick there, but then right on the edge here, you start to curve up slightly. It's not as visible, you know, you don't feel it as much, but just a slight curve, and it really gives the appearance of a super thin seat. All right, one more grit. All right, I think that's good for the bottom. Ugh. Let's get this thing back up on its feet. Oh yeah, feel much safer now. All right. All right, we're back at it. Got these all shaped in on top and bottom on the sides. Then I got this transition and that shaped in. So I'll start sanding them. Probably just go to 120 on these because I'm going to be bouncing around. Eventually I have to get back to them. But yeah, then once that's done, then we can move on to the headrest. All right. All right, that's 60 grit. I think I'm gonna take a break with the sanding. So I still got a few gaps to fill. Take a break and then we're gonna work on the headrest. Yeah. Hey, it's Mark here, back again at it. Yeah, we had a good day yesterday. I only got in a couple hours of work. I shaped in these side legs and we're ready to move on to the headrest. Beautiful morning here in South Carolina. It's about 7:30 and 55 degrees. So yeah, this is the pattern for the headrest. It's a smaller headrest than the usual Maloof one that's pretty big, about 6-7 inches. But it does look, I think it looks good with this design. So that's what we're gonna go with. But I had my son-in-law measure my daughter when she's sitting in a chair from back to the back of her head, and it came to about 30 inches. I marked that off back here, and you want it kind of right there. So I'm probably gonna, the 30-inch mark I'm gonna set at the top of these. But if you can see, you know, I could bring this in, but I don't want to take away that 5-degree splay, so I'm just going to measure the distance here and add to it. Get my trusty stare it rule. See how much I got to add. Oh, about 3/4. So I'll add 3/8 on each side. So, man, I haven't touched a wood pile up there in a while. I'll have to pull some down and see what's up. All right, yeah, this one, I was originally gonna, yeah, that did some serious cracks and checks over the time drying out. No, what's his name? My friend over across the pond keeps yelling at me, get a dust mask. I'm going to. But yeah, that split down there. I was going to use this for the legs originally, or for the slats for the rail rocker seat. But I think this will work out. I think he gets it. I think he might have gotten this down to Inch and 3/4. What is this? I got, ooh, I'm down there. That's 1 1/8 inches. So this is 8/4. That's 2 inches. I may have to do some fun with that one. I wonder if we could round it, because I think his is straight. I wonder if I could round it. We'll see. Well, let's get this thing first cut out. Okay. Yeah, these do have a 5-degree angle on them, so let me just set it up there. Let me show you this. All right, you see how this is coming down, and if I extended it, all this grain right here is weak, so I may extend this. This is why on the rockers, you don't flare out the legs. You know, they would go, let's see, with the grain, you know, like that. And this stuff, you're sanding it down even with the rocker, that would chip off. That's why you add riser blocks on the rocker. So it's this grain going, and that can, what do you call it, shape better and stronger. So, all right, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. So I had to cut it, these angles at 5 degrees, and it was a little less than that, but now, I gotta see this. All right, so the top of the swoop on this top kind of comes right about there. So I'm gonna put that at 30 inches. Yeah, it's fitting. I don't know if I'm just gonna try to rough fit it now, but how do you, one of the things I learned was, like, if you're working alone, trying to get this headrest and you want to get a clamp here, it's a serious pain to try to do that. You don't have multiple hands, so what I do is mark that where my boards come into, and I just put some clamps right here. You just set it in there. There's another set of hands holding your piece. Yeah, that can go up a little, but oh yeah. Let's see if you can see how, that's a nice tight seam. Yeah, same in front. Still haven't figured out if I wanna swoop that back. Okay, I am a glutton for punishment here. All right, so I pushed it back. I wonder if I can take that light out. There we go. I pushed it even with the front there. And then pushed it back. I'll show you why I'm doing that. I think you might get the concept that I want to do it kind of follow a curve instead of being straight. I don't think he did this on his rocker, but if I mark it up here, I'll lose it because I'm going to cut this. Although, wow, I should do the curve now while I have a flat, relatively flat, joint that flat surface. But, all right, let's see what we can get. Oh, I'm a glutton for punishment again. Why am I doing this? All right, a little shorter there. What do we got? 20 and 3/8, so 10 and 3/16. All right, what I'm trying to do is the top part here, I don't know if you can see that up there. Okay, this is 1 1/8 inches. So I've got roughly 1 1/8 inches there and there. I've got the center. Just wish I had a more stable point. Okay. Stinking hands in the way. All right, there we go. It's out of the way now. Just a rough curve. I'm not gonna make it as such an extreme in the front. There we go. All right, get the front. All right. Yeah, that's what we're shooting for, to give it a curve. I don't know if I should, but that's what I'm gonna do. All right. We'll see how. I should really cut that down so I'm not resawing as much, because I only got the 3/4 blade on there and I don't want to change the blades right now. Well, okay. All right. I don't know if you can get that. Let's see if we can get that in there. Yeah. Yeah. Nice curve to that. I don't think I need the bottom because these two spots here are supporting it. Might go off the table on the end there, but I think she'll be all right. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Leave the line. Oh, let's back this up. All right, that's a basic shape of it. And I did get a curve in it. Yeah, got a lot of shaping to do, but that's okay. Yeah. Nice. Let's install this. Let's put this up there and see what it looks like. Yeah, it's definitely got some shaping to do. Yeah, I like that curve that I put into it. I had to drop it down an inch to get 30 inches right there where her head's gonna rest. And so that's where that's at now. So I'm gonna be cutting this down, and then this will transition to a curve coming down there. Since this is a smaller headrest than a typical Maloof, I don't know if you see that in the picture, he doesn't have any horns on there. I don't know. I always like the horns, but what do I got? I don't know. I like horns on mine. I'll have to create a pattern. And he goes and just bumps it around. I think I'm gonna go with the horns. Again, I'm a glutton for punishment here. More work. That's for my daughter. I don't want to push it, so there's only going to be a spot. He's only got one screw in this one. All right, I got to lay this on its back. All right, there's my pattern. Alrighty. There she goes. Now we can start shaping her. Yeah, that'll be fun. I love having these horns. And it swoops on the inward here and comes down, and then you'll create a transition in the back there. It looks really nice on a typical Maloof rocker. So, all right. Ah, man, I wish I had I was looking at, I'll post this video if I can ever find it. Girl, I glow. Of me building a Maloof rocker with just hand tools. It's out there. You can find, if you search for Mark Hynek, you'll see it. It's a painted Maloof rocker. Didn't have it then, but no, when I built some of these in Costa Rica, I had one of those old Stanley compass planes. Man, that was nice. All right. Yeah, this is just going to be rasping. Feel that thing. You really want it square to the front, because the back we're going to kind of round over, you know. I'm going to round it all there, but this front, I want that bottom square to it so I know those spindles will seat nicely. All right. See if that works. Ooh, that would look neat. That's the bottom of the original headrest. Usually on their big headrest for the Maloof, you're doing 3 screws. This one, you know, once the spindles are in, it won't rotate, but right now it could rotate. Alright, pray that this doesn't split. Alright. Yeah, that's in there. 7 spindles. Center on this. So I'm going to get the center between the seat and the back, which comes to, it's like 2 1/4 so inch in there. All right, I know that one. That's the first spindle. All right, just gotta kind of get an idea where these go to Just slightly. Slightly. Not exactly the same. All right, there we go. 19.5. All right. All right, now what we're gonna do is cut the spindles out, because I got these marked, and I'll probably, once I get the spindles, and I'll see if I can get the bottom half shaped to fit in. And you just drop them on here, and because this is wider than this, so the spacing's going to be wider. But yeah, let's cut some spindles. All right, here we go with the spindles. Gonna be doing two shapes. That's the side profile. That's what you'll put on the wood first to cut out. And then once that's cut out, you'll put this, kind of like that, on there and shape it. Going 3/4 to an inch in on each, on the bottom and the top. The long one came to 31 inches, so, and this is actually 31 inches, so I think this is 32. Yeah, it comes out to 32, so we can crop her down. Biggest thing you want to watch for is your grain pattern. Biggest thing you want to watch on these is, see how this grain pattern, you want as straight a grain on this section. The rockers I did build, anyone is straight here. This is thicker. It'll hold up to it better. A few of the rockers I built in Costa Rica, it was Guanacaste. I think they call it monkey something here. If a spindle ever broke, it was always here. So, but on what am I thinking? On Maloof rockers, they really go down. It's almost like 3/8 here, but he's got 1/2 inch, and I'll be honest, I really like that. So I'm gonna try to get his. Yeah, I like that grain there. Let's see if we can. Ah, woo, yeah. All right, here's 7. Just want to set them up here, see how they look. If you set them next to each other, that feels pretty good. Yeah, that feels pretty good. As long as they're very close to each other, you know, if you follow the pattern. But yeah, there we go. There's 7 side profile cut. And yeah, that's nice and strong there and there. All right. So now, gotta get the bandsaw back out. You know, I could probably cut these down. to the width I need them. 1.25 inches. And get the bandsaw back out. Yeah. 7 down 1.25 inches. Let me just highlight so I can see it. Yeah, it works out well if you can use a thick cardboard on these patterns or masonite. Masonite seems to be, I like it, it's thicker but it bends. So I got the center line just to make sure that's even. And see, I got that center line with the marking gauge and then I highlight it. And then I have the center line on the pattern, line it up, and there she goes. All right, one more turn on the bandsaw. Definitely want to leave a line because these transitions here you'll be shaping. Yeah, that one. So low. This one's still a little low. Yeah. Rough cut, rough shaped. Spindles. Now I'm gonna drill holes for these. Obviously they're not round yet, but then we'll learn where to cut them off. I won't go more than 1 inch in there. I'm gonna go 1 inch down. Kind of got an angle just a hair backwards, but these on the side, this is wider than this, so they're gonna spread out so it's a slight angle, you know, toward the thing, so. We'll get her. Yeah, that's good. Gonna mark off 1 inch. Because on the front, they're going to be flat like this, and then the backs are rounded to them. That's just how they are in the Maloof. Let's see if he's got them up here. I mean, yeah, he's got it flat through here. Then it starts to round completely on the upper, so. All right, I'm just gonna try to break these corners a little. And it's Veritas. Giant pencil sharpener really works nice. There we go. All right. Alright, there's one. Alright, there they are, roughly in their holes. Now, as you can see, it'll push back. That's got to go another 3/4. So what do you do about that to make it? There's a trick. Once we get that fitted, see if I can see this front portion, you're gonna file down about 1/8 inch so it can move forward in that hole. But all right, let's get the measurements of that, and we'll figure out these holes, figure out how we have to cut down the outside ones, because it's only going 1 inch up at the most, you know. Yeah. All right. There's that sender. Close enough. Okay. Spindles are in. I still got shape on them. All right. Well, I thought that worked out well. Might shape those similar to this fashion. We'll see. I don't know if I'll angle them. I think I might keep them straight. All right. Well, let's let that set, and then I can just shape these in the headrest at the same time. The headrest, I'll round that back and smooth it out, but then this transition, I gotta. It's a bear. I can start it, but you really got to have everything in and then work it. But I want to work on this arm now. Get that, because I won't be able to, I'll show you what I have to do with that. Okay, here's a pattern of the arm. And yeah, this right here has got to be done in this arm, this swoop here, because that, if I did this grain, that would just snap right off. Let's see. That's a man. That's where my blank for the arm needs to end. So it's got a swoop there. But then this is approximately where the leg is. This is the, let's see if you can see that. It's not going to go straight. That's roughly it. See how that swoops down? Well, I gotta get that. How thick is this? This is almost 1.5 inches, 1 3/8. So you want that the same width. So 1 3/8 to here. You know, but it's got to go that way. So that's what it's going to look like from the top. That's what it's going to look like from the side. So I need a blank. Roughly 18.5 inches, but then I need it 3 inches wide. So I'm going to show you what to do when you don't have 12/4. All right, let's find a nice piece. Yeah, so okay. Okay, now what I did, this is the top profile. Now we're going to resaw this off, this part, and glue it on the back. And we'll get our 3 inches. Yeah, we'll get definitely more. All right. Oh, look at that. How straight that was. Man, this 3/4 blade, or no, this 1/2 inch blade is cutting better than the 3/4 blade in the world. That was awesome. Oops, excuse me. Yeah, so there we go. We got that off. Now we're gonna glue that right on the back there. go. All right, we'll let that sit till tomorrow. Oh, I'm about kaput. What time is it? Oh, almost 3 o'clock. 2.5 hours. Got about 6 hours in today. Man, I really wanted to get those shaped. Yeah, I'll take a short break. Try to get back here in an hour or so. See if I can get the spindles shaped. That was a good day. Man, it's looking like a chair now, huh? Just got the arm. That's dry, I'll cut that out. Can install that. And then rough install it. And man, once that's in, it's just shaped. And once everything's shaped and sanded, it's just a rocking chair, so. Yeah, I mean the rockers, not the rocking chair. This is the rocking chair. Oh, it's coming.